Today we're talking about hidden gems on the new ChromeCast device. These are the apps that if you dig a little bit deeper, you might find. I did another video a couple weeks ago about the top 10 absolute best free channels that you can get on this device, and I would encourage you to check that out if you're unfamiliar with the free options that are out there. So I will link to that in the description below. But for today, like I said, we're digging a little bit deeper. We're talking about 10 apps that you might not have ever heard of. In fact, unless you've been streaming for a long time, you probably haven't heard of them. But I guarantee there's going to be something in here that will tickle your fancy. So let's dive in. So first things first, how do you actually find apps on the new Google ChromeCast? Well, from my home screen, I'm going to come over here to the apps section and come down. It's going to list a bunch of featured ones, the kind of obvious, the Disney Plus, HBO Max, etc. And then your apps is the next row down. After that, it's all stuff that you can get recommended to you on the platform. So you can go search by category, or you can scroll down from there and find a section that looks interesting to you, scroll over and find something to download. So that is just fine. It's a little bit clunky and might not be the best way to find the really good stuff out there. But the better way, honestly, is just to watch this video so that I can show you a few of the ones that I found. So again, on that apps section, I could go down to your apps here, or there's the same thing over on the home page as well. I'm going to click on see all because, yeah, I'm going past all of the obvious stuff, the Hulu, the Tubi, the Peacock, all of that stuff. I'm going to go past that and down here to this section below. The first one that we're going to talk about is old movies. Now, someone asked me on a previous video, how did I find this? Old movies. Well, I found it with long, hard searching, but I really like it, and I definitely recommend it. The interesting thing about the old movies app is that it doesn't actually host any of these videos. These are movies that are available in the public domain and are available for free to watch in their entirety on YouTube. And so they're essentially aggregating a bunch of YouTube links, but it is an interesting way to kind of aggregate all this stuff, to organize it, and to give you an idea of something to watch if you like kind of old classic stuff. So for instance, if I want to watch Sword of Lancelot from 1963, I'm going to go ahead and hit play movie, and it opens up the YouTube app on my machine. So obviously you've got to have the YouTube app downloaded as well in order to make this work. Next up is the Button Mapper app. I talked about this one in my tips and tricks videos for this device, but I wanted to bring it up again just to make sure everybody sees it because it really is a great help if you want to have your buttons do something different on this remote. For the most part, I think it's totally fine. I'm not going to remap my Google voice search button. I'm not going to remap the home button or the back button, whatever. But these two buttons down here, YouTube and Netflix, maybe I don't really use those as much as I use other apps. And I can remap them by going into the button mapper and going to add buttons. And if I add a button, let's see, press a button to add. Let's add the Netflix button. Let's have that do something else. And then you'll see button 3. It calls it button 3 shows up. I'm just going to go and customize this. And then you can tell it what to do with that button on a single tap, a double tap, or a long press. And there you go. Once you're all done with that, it is ready to fire. I can go back to my home page, and when I single tap on Netflix, it actually brings up Disney Plus. There you go. Okay, let's get back to some entertainment options here. I'm going to go to The Economist. The Economist Films. This is a channel that I think you'll really enjoy if you enjoy that kind of magazine editorial style. They're going to have a lot of news stories and a lot of documentaries. I really enjoyed some of the stuff on here. Some of it wasn't quite to my taste, but I went down to a section called Future Works and really enjoyed this one. I watched a little documentary that was about 20 minutes long about esports superstars. A lot of fun, actually. So if you enjoy The Economist in print, because I'm sure that still exists, or if you read them online, then definitely this channel is worth checking out. If you're into sports, then go check out Barstool Sports. If you do like sports, if you're a sports fanatic, I'm sure you've already heard of Barstool. Well, they have their own app available for download here on this Android TV or Google TV platform. So you can pull up Barstool Sports, There's a lot here to go through, but my favorite section would probably be the Barstool Rundown that you can watch every day just to get, obviously, their daily take on stuff. Next up is Tune In. Now, this one isn't necessarily a hidden gem. A lot of people use it, but for those who don't use it, there's a good chance you haven't heard of it. And I really like it as an app for my TV in case I want to listen to, in my case, especially podcasts. But you can also get some FM radio stations on here as well. So it's going to have your local stuff. It'll ask you for your location. Then you can go up to browse and look for featured podcasts and shows, that sort of thing, in the browse menu. If there's something specific that you're looking for, then you go all the way up to search and search that thing, and it will allow you to find just about anything out there as far as podcasts that have been submitted to the large feeds. So obviously, TuneIn is great if you want to have your TV on, have something going, but you're not necessarily sitting down and watching. You know, maybe you're doing the dishes or, you know, some other chore, whatever, and you want to just have something going, then yeah, make sure you have TuneIn for that. Next up is Free Documentary. What could that be about? And well, okay, yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's a bunch of free documentaries that you can go in and watch. Let's see what we've got here. Some of these are obviously satisfying and really straightforward as far as what you get. This one is called, this series is called Blowdown, and so it's about demolishing buildings, essentially. And yeah, it's exactly what you would expect to get from it. I really like this particular app for my son, who loves machines and trucks and, you know, giant boats and stuff. So we got to watch this thing about how they shipped a wind farm from Germany to China, and they had to build a special boat for it. That full documentary is here on the app. It's all free to watch, and it is fantastic if you're into this sort of thing. Next up is one that, if you're a sci-fi fan, there's a good chance you have heard of it. But if you haven't, then you should. Make sure you take special note of this one. It's called Dust. This is sci-fi shorts for the most part. They do have some longer stuff, but most of it is going to fall between 5 and 20 minutes long. And it is actually really decent quality stuff. And it's got actors and directors that you have heard of, many that you haven't. You can go in and watch for free. You don't have to sign in. If you do sign in, you can save a my list, the things I'm watching, whatever. But you don't have to do that. You can watch these Dust films. If I go to view all, it's going to show me everything you've got here. Like I said, there are some faces that you'll recognize. There's Tatiana Maslany from Orphan Black. Rachel McAdams and George Clooney show up in some deep fake kind of thing. A lot of it is, in my experience, going to be kind of a Black Mirror style sci-fi experience. Not all of it, though. But anyway, if that sounds like it's going to ring your bell, then definitely make sure you download Dust. I find myself in here more often than I kind of thought that I would, if I'm being honest. Next up, if you like Pluto TV. Pluto TV is kind of the live TV cable doppelganger, right? There's another one called AiryTV. So if you find yourself, scrolling all the way through Pluto TV and you can't quite find something to watch, then make sure you check out Airy. Like I said, it's going to be very, very similar. It's structured like a cable programming setup where you've got different channels airing things at specific times. So this is not on-demand stuff. It's going to be, like I said, structured as a live program. Now, are you going to find actual cable channels on here? No, definitely not. If Pluto TV is the B-team stuff, then Airy is definitely more like C-team stuff. But if honestly, sometimes that's exactly what you're looking for. And they do have good shows and movies that they show every once in a while. They kind of pull them in from other sources and make them available for you to watch here on a timed basis. But sometimes all you want is a little bit of noise around the house, right? And this is going to provide that for you. AiryTV, a good companion to Pluto. All right, back on the kind of useful side of things, daily workouts. If you find yourself, lacking a little motivation, you want something to work out to, but you don't want to spend hundreds of dollars on, whatever Peloton or interactive software, daily workouts is incredibly simple. There is a premium version of it if you want to, but this free version is going to give you 6 categories that you can go through for quick exercises. So I can tell it, yeah, I want to work out for 10 minutes. I want to do workout number 1. And then when I hit play, it simply shows me a person doing the exercise, and I can do that along with them. And it's going to time it for 10 minutes and run me through a bunch of different exercises. So like I said, this is very simple. It's not interactive. It's not fancy. But if you just want something to kind of get your butt off the couch, this is going to help you out with that. The last one that we're going to go through is Neverthink. And boy, is that an appropriate name. But this one is kind of fun. If you enjoy internet memes, then Neverthink is exactly that. It is a nonstop loop of quick internet videos and memes for you to watch. Again, this is kind of like background stuff. I imagine if I owned a restaurant or something, or, if I just needed something playing in the background, this might be a fun one to use. So on Neverthink, I can go, let's see, what's my favorite category? Maybe oddly satisfying. And it's going to have little videos run on a loop that are weirdly, oddly satisfying. So there you have it, 10 hidden gems. I hope there was something in there that you'll find interesting, something that will help your experience here on the new Google ChromeCast. These are all ones that, frankly, I'm not going to be deleting anytime soon because I do find a use for them. So if I missed any of your favorites, go ahead and hit the comments below. I'd love to hear them. Or if you try any of these and you really like them or you hate them, hit the comments with that. But in the meantime, give this video a like and make sure you are subscribed for content much like this. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I will see you next time.